Hey YouTube, welcome back to UniXTCG, and we are here for another Dragon Ball Super Fusion World video. Now, as most of you guys know, unless you're living under a rock, yesterday we did get a ban list that hit the 2 de facto best-in-slot decks, and I want to just jump in and break that down and talk about the ramifications as well as the cards that were affected. Now, there are some caveats to this, seeing as that this won't be hitting this format. It will be in effect next format when we will be getting a new whole main set, so that could have already been a shakeup already, but we've got a lot of nuance to go over. So I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you like the video if you like the video. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss a beat when it comes to my Dragon Ball Super Fusion World content. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so let's get a look over here at the regarding the ban/restricted cards. We're just going to read this blurb again. It says, in this game, a deck used in a tournament is generally permitted up to 4 copies of a card with the same number. Cards that have that are exceptions and to be limited are noted in the ban/restricted card section. This is divided into ban cards and restricted cards. For cards that are designated as ban cards, no copies of the card are permitted in the deck. For cards designed or designated as restricted cards, only 1 copy is permitted in the deck. So we got that. Now, the first thing we need to notice here is that the TCG version change is December 12th. This is the exact release date of Set 8, Sans Pride. So we will not have these effects in until we get new cards in the game, which is a little weird, but at the same time, I do think we have to bring this up. I don't think a ban list that was announced literally a week and a half before Nationals should be the Nationals format. The Nationals format, for 99.99% of the players involved, will be the biggest tournament they go to in the year, and it should come down to more than a week and a half's worth of testing. So I stand on business when I put that down. I would like a new format, but not unless we had 2 months or so to test it. So going down here, we also have the digital version change, same day as the version 10 update. I'm assuming that's just going to be when they add in Set 8, don't at me. And then going down here, we're going to talk about our restricted cards. Now, first off, they would have put banned over here, so this is just going to let us know there are no banned cards, which I will talk about later when I kind of go over my feelings. But the first thing we have here is the FB04-094 Majin Buu Kid. This guy is a 5-cost, 35k double strike for you guys that have not been on the receiving end of this guy's onslaught. On play, you play up to 1 battle card with a cost of 4 or less and Majin or Evil Wizard and special traits from your hand. So, here's the thing about this card. This card allowed so much pressure because you would generally play this 5-cost and then you would play originally a 3-cost Majin Buu, whether that be the SR that can, you know, pop a card and then you draw, they discard them if they have 6 or less cards in hand, or 6 or more cards in hand, or it could be the Buff Buu, which is generally the target, that could swing for 30k and then you can KO a card on your side of the field to put him back to active mode so that he can attack again. Or even worse, it could play out the Bobbity, which will then play out one of those 2 cards. So that is kind of how this guy went. You play 5, but you pay 5, but you actually are playing 8 to 9, sometimes even 11 to 12 if the Bobbity is involved. So it really is just a ridiculous cheat in terms of value what you're putting out. It also leads to, a lot of the times, because of that 30k that can swing twice, if your opponent's at 3 life, you have the ability to swing potentially 3 to 4 times with 20 to 30k values on somebody's 3rd life before you have to commit to your shotgun with the double strike. And the worst part is, if they don't crumble to that, you could potentially do it again because you had 4 of these in your deck. But now you only have 1. And the reason why they list it is in both the FB04-77 Majin Buu Evil deck and the SB01-29 Majin Buu Evil / Majin Buu Kid deck, the card allowed players to achieve victory far more efficiently compared to the other level 5 or other cost 5 cards. To bring the power of these decks to closer to a fair level, this card will be restricted. And this was an important thing because when you look at all of them, I'm not going to try to dive super detailed in this, but when you look at the starter decks, right? When you look at the original double strikers, red had a double striker, 35k 5 cost that minus something by 20k. Blue had the same stat line that bottom decked to 4 cost. Green did not have one in the starter deck, but green did have one in set. Because green was the ramp color, this one cost 6 instead of 5. It had 40k power instead of 35k power, and when it came down, it also blew up 2, 3 or less cost things. Yellow had the standard 5 cost, 35k stat line, double strike, and then it could freeze something, causing it to not be switched to active during the untap step. Then or the refresh step, or whatever you want to call it in this game. And then you had the black one, which was a same stat line, the 5 cost 35k, but if you were to combo 2 cards, activate battle, you can blow up something. So you had all these, and then this guy just said, yeah, I'm just going to cheat something into play that could potentially cheat something else into play. And so it really did push the needle on what a double strike did, and it was an excellent closer. So yes, this is an excellent hit. Now this next hit, FBO 495 Majin Buu Kid. This is a definite hit. I said back during Nationals last year that if there was a #1 card that I would ban from the deck, it would be this card. Because like I said, this card being able to attack twice for 30k, which is the best number to swing on a 20k leader to just fish out cards from hand or check for super combos, this was just detrimental. Whether you were punching and, you know, just like trying to get your opponent down to 3, or from 3 to 2 to then swing for double strike, or whether you were just trying to fish cards from hand, this guy was that dude. And whether you're in Kid Buu, allowing you to maybe swing with this guy once, swing with your leader once, swing with this guy again after you KO something, or whether you're playing, that's Buu Kid, or whether you're playing Evil Buu and the KOing of a Majin on your side of the field might untap your leader. And when you think about that momentum, there are times where if your opponent has like 6 cards in hand because you've been doing work with your pressure and the Majin Buu SR, there's a way that you can just be like, okay, I'm going to play out the double striker, cheat this into play, attack with this, cool, attack with my leader, draw a card, I'm going to put a 10k on it, cool, pop something, switch this to active mode, switch my leader to active mode, swing with this again, oh, you're still at 3 life, okay, swing with my leader, and since you're now at like 3 cards in hand, I'm just going to put 2 10ks on this and let it bang. Oh, now you're down to 2 life, 5 cards in hand, you know, 4 or 5 cards in hand, cool. Swing my double strike, put everything in my hand on it. Yeah, no, oppressive. This card needed to go, but they put it down to 1, and I guess we can deal with that. So, going down to the next one, right? It does say, for this one, actually, before we go to the next one, this card significantly boosted the number of efficiency and attacks from the mid to late game for both FBO 477 Majin Buu Evil and the SBO 129 Majin Buu Evil / Majin Buu Kid deck. To bring the power of both decks closer to a fair level, this card will be restricted. So, yeah, that's that. And the next card is also hitting a manga deck. I will say it's funny that these cards are FBO 4. We're about to get FBO 8 in less than a month. And FBO 4 cards are being banned. But you know what? Let's just keep going. So you got this SBO 1011 Cell. This guy was the on play. He's a 5 cost, 30k power, 10k combo power, on play, add up to 1 card with a cost of 4 or less, an android and special trait from your drop to your hand. When KO'd, his leader is an android card. If your leader is an android card only, play up to 1 android 18 with a cost of 2 or less from your drop. So just to give you guys the look-sees, this card was generally adding self-destruct back to your hand, which is a massive card that, funnily enough, we will see later in this video. Now, the other thing, though, is that when it's KO'd, you can bring back an Android 18. That's generally going to be either the cantrip Android 18, that's going to be the blocker 18, Self-Awakener. So, you have, Self-Awakener 18, you have a couple of good options, right? And when it comes to a couple of good options with this is just like a pretty good card in general, and it allows you to kind of rest on your laurels and recycle things. Now, this is a staple in the deck because it extends your plays. It allows you to recycle your why am I blanking right now? Self-destructs, and then when it goes out, you get a little bit of insurance. Sometimes your opponent has to clear your board, and you might get yourself a blocker just because they cleared your board. Kind of crazy. Now, looking at this, their reasoning says this card greatly increased the repetitive nature of the SBO1 Cell deck and of its gameplay, and the result in the fixed actions every turn. To bring the deck power closer to a fair level, also increasing the variety of possible plays, this card will be restricted. Now, the last one we have here is Self-Destruct, and this card is a 1-cost activate main, KO 1 battle card with Android and special traits in your battle area. If the leader is an Android-only card, draw 1 card, and then choose up to 1 battle card with 30k power less in your opponent's battle area and KO it. This allowed you to do so many things because in 1 card, you would get rid of an android, you would pop something for 30k or less, you would draw a card, but then because you got an android off your board, you triggered your Awakened Leader's effect, allowing it to draw and swing and become a 40k. So this card just had way too much momentum. It was devastating. With so much minus in the deck, you could get even 50k battle cards down to 30k to then blow them up with self-destruct for 1. And that becomes crazy. Considering that you'd play 4 of these, and on top of that, you can recycle them with Cell, things just get out of hand. Now, this card says their reasoning was, this card was extremely powerful with its ability to remove a wide range of battle cards at a low cost while conserving one's hand. To bring the power level of SPO1001 Cell deck to a fair standard, this card will be restricted. There's not really much to say about that. This is a really cool looking thing. This is a crazy card for the deck, and people realize its strength more and more as time went by. It went from a tech card to a 3 of to a 4 of, or else you're bad. You know, if you get the reference, you get it. And yeah, you know, this is pretty much just a staple in the deck, and most people would have said that this is their first top pick for getting hit. So yeah, I see you still watching, and I got a couple things to say real quick. 1, if you like this video, like the video, you know what I mean? Subscribe so you don't miss a beat with my Fusion World content, and you can always find me playing other games and streaming over on Universe X Media here on YouTube. We do everything that we can do nerd-wise that on this channel, on that channel. So go down in the description, give it a look-see, maybe even subscribe to it too, so you can support me on all those platforms and, you know, get your fix on more Universe X. Now, past that, I do want to say that we are making a push to pretty much push all of my platforms a little forward. So we're trying to get over 1,000 followers on my Twitch, as well as 1,000 followers on my Twitter. So both of those will be in the description as well. Now, past all that, 2, if you guys are looking for a great place to find these cards, look no further than my sponsor, Hyper Beam Cards. They have their website up, and they have been supplying me with like boxes of every set for, I think now at this point, 3 sets. Like I think they got me for the manga set, they got me for set 7, and yeah, they're just pretty much shelling it out. Like they're awesome. They have a huge following for Dragon Ball. They're based in Tijuana, and that means they can ship to anywhere in America as well as anywhere in Mexico, and they're just a one-stop shop. Now, when you go to their website, it is in pesos, so you do need to do a little translation. However, at the same time, this will be your best place to pre-order sets going into the future. So if you're looking for a good place to pre-order your set 8, make sure you stop at Hyperbeam Cards, let them know I sent you, and get your cards today. So, that being said, let's hop back into the content. Okay, so now it's time to talk the impact of this ban list. I think something that we have to discuss here is that when it comes to this ban list, these decks, both Kid Buu and Super Buu, as well as Cell, they were very unique in the sense that they both hindered opposite sides of the spectrum. Kid Buu was able to pin down quite a few decks, allowing a wall of barriers if it so chose to stop decks with high removal. If you were only playing 1 valid turn or card per turn, like a big card per turn, they were able to freeze it and lock it down for the rest of the game, really hindering your progress. Meanwhile, you could go wide enough to hurt Kid Buu. However, when you go down to Cell, all of the things that would be rough versus Cell, the big bodies that it's hard to destroy, the huge impactful plays that would chunk its hand, those get checked by Majin Buu. But what does get checked by Cell are the decks that would go wide with 20Ks, 25Ks, even 30Ks sometimes, that would hinder Majin Buu, but Cell could tear through with ease. And this made a very weird format where if you did not play Kid Buu or Cell, you had to just hope that you didn't run into the other one enough. Whichever deck your deck was weak to, you had to hope that you didn't run into it enough. Then we got set 7, which included newcomers like Omega Shenron as well as Orange Piccolo, which respectively could put in a lot of work versus these decks, but it still came down to close to 50-50s, 40-50s. It was not a straight up, oh, these decks can just consistently healthily beat these other decks. So you had this very weird format where Sin Shenron and Piccolo could definitely come in and hurt these decks. However, at the same time, they could still get walked. And at the same time, other decks in the format had a disastrous time. When Buu or Cell high rolled, they were just on another level than 98% of the decks in the game. And then the only decks that we're seeing them high roll is each other or Sin Shenron or Piccolo for the most part. Other decks could get there, but that was pretty much how it was for the most part. So the thing we're looking at is once these cards are hit, the 2 decks change in a very specific way. And it's actually funny in my opinion. Yellow was always meant to be a control color, locking down your opponent's cards, destroying rest mode cards with generally high restrictions. You have barrier to be able to have some just bodies on your board that can't be removed through conventional means. You had a lot of defensive extras, some of the best in the game. Yellow was always meant to be a control card, or a control color. But then, when you had this 5-cost Buu and a 3-cost Buu, and so on, you had the ability to have extreme bursty closing potential, which allowed you to take all of that hand advantage you built as a control deck and turn it into combo power on your finishing shotgun. So with the Majin Buu Kid going down to 1 and the Buff Buu going down to 1, you've taken away Yellow's insane closing power, which turns Yellow, especially these Kid Buu decks, these Evil Buu decks, way closer so into being control decks again. You can't just rely on having a double strike 30k turn and then being like, oh, if they die, they die, and if they don't, I can do it again next turn. No, you have one double striker Majin Buu in your deck, so you have to make it count. Now, there are replacements for the Buff Buu. You still have the Buu that you can discard a card and he untaps. You still have the Buu that comes down and rests everybody's stuff. But what you don't have is the ability to follow up with another double striker play that cheats another card into play if that's not what you are set up with. So when it comes to that, yeah, these Buu decks, they have to be more control if you're going to run them. You have to go wider with these cards, but you can't just rely on this crazy double strike play. So Yellow, back to control. Now, when it comes to the red part, this is the exact opposite. Red has always been a punchy, aggressive color, but with a card like Cell, 5-drop Cell, that was recycling your destruction pieces and recycling your Android 18s when they come back, as well as cards like Self-Destruct, which got rid of so many cards easily while replacing itself in hand, that you know, enabled your leader that could be recycled. You were able to play red as a very much so control deck that had the ability to be aggressive. And that was what made the deck good. When a deck can step outside of its roles, I've said this since Dragon Ball Super Masters, when you have aggro, you have tempo, you have mid-range, you have control. When a deck can play in multiple stages of the game, it is versatile. A deck that is versatile is a deck that is hard to play around because they can switch gears. If they smell blood in the water, they can start punching your lights out and beat you down. If Cell sensed that you were a slower deck that would need to take its time with, Cell could play the slow game. Cell could burn out your board and eventually look at your hand and be like, 6 cards in hand, I'm going in. Buu could do the same thing. Buu could be aggressive from the get-go and try to kill you on turn 5 when it can see its double strike. Buu can sit there and burn through your hand and just wait. Set up some barrier blockers, just wait until they felt like there was weakness in your hand and then just blow you out then. Now, these decks are trying to be put back into the holes of their actual colors, and yeah, just kind of like that. Now, this is going to be also pretty good because since these decks are hit, Set 8 is open season. I would normally say that a lot of Set 8 decks don't look like they would make it. We are going to be going into the breakdown. You guys did vote on which one you wanted to see first, and if I have it up on the screen right now, you guys see the Gohan won in a landslide. Almost 300 votes from you guys, so thank you. But we'll be doing Gohan first, and you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. That's my boy. I love him. But the point is, Set 8 is open season now because we don't have Buu potentially being the best choice in yellow anymore, and we don't have Cell gatekeeping all the decks that might want to go wide and play more aggressive strategies. So that is going to be that. Yeah, but I think that this is going to open up Set 8 to be good. Set 8 went from almost, in my opinion, what could have been a non-factor to definitely open to explore every deck coming out of it, and I am super happy to be able to see that this is going to open up the format. So we'll get a little bit of a breather before we get into the next season of competitive play, and I'm here for it. And yeah, there you have it. What did you guys think about the ban list? I want to know your thoughts in the comments. We have an interesting format coming up right after Nats, but yeah, don't let that fool you. We still do have the current format for Nats, so if you guys are going, you got to make sure to lock in for that. Gonna see what content I can do about that in the next week or so. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this and the points I brought up. Let me know if there are any points that you have that you think I missed. And you know, guys, you guys are just the best. You guys are honestly the best. So thank you guys for sitting patiently. Thank you guys for watching the video. Thank you guys for the interaction. And I will see you in the next one. later.